Of a guest in my studio. Her name is Jamie Bruchman. Jamie, should I call you Jamie Bilgo Bruchman? Is that correct?
It's my full name.
Okay.
Not hyphenated, but
Fair enough. Jamie is doing a very cool Swan Day MK is what it's called, and it's artists being performing artists, painting artists. I'm gonna let her give the whole 9 yards because there's a lot going on. But it's a feminine hygiene product drive, our menstrual product drive for some places in need here in Milwaukee. So, Jamie, without further ado, tell me about yourself. You're an artist, I assume?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about yourself, and then let's go into what you're doing for this Swan Day MK. And is this the very first one?
It is the second one from Milwaukee.
Excellent. All right. Tell us all about it.
Thanks, Sid. I'm an artist here in Milwaukee. I've grown up in Milwaukee all my life. And I went to UWM for visual art, for painting and drawing and printmaking. And then a couple years ago, I finished my residency I started my residency and I just wrapped up last September at RedLine Milwaukee, which is where the show is going to be held. So that's an arts incubator right over on 4th Street, just north of where the new Bradley Center is being built. So each year I was there, I worked with a mentor and just did a lot of kind of experimentation. Yeah, so.
And then what inspired you to start Swan Day MK? First, let's talk about what it is, who it's going to benefit, and then the inspiration behind it.
Sure. So Swan Day, it's a funny acronym. It just happens to be an animal, but it actually stands for Support Women Artists Now. Nice. And it's an internationally celebrated holiday, and it was actually started 10 years ago by two women, Lisa Hutner of Chicago and Martha Richards of San Francisco.
Very cool.
And Martha Richards is actually the founder of Women Arts, which is a nonprofit in San Francisco. And so they got together via a conference and on a ride, I think from one town to another over a shared pizza, they came up with Swan Day because they both were working on different elements of inviting women to celebrate their art and try to uplift each other, and then how to organize that. So Swan Day is actually a grassroots event where anybody can do it. You don't have to follow certain rules. Like I said, it's international. They celebrate it in Kenya. They celebrate it in Connecticut.
Amazing.
You know, there's probably one in Canada. So the way I got involved with it was actually my best friend happened to be the associate director for the nonprofit last year. And I was just wrapping up my first year in my residency at RedLine. And she started kind of, letting me in on what they were working on, and I found it really interesting. And what was really interesting is all the questions she started asking me that the organization was asking other women, like in the arts. And the two questions were, what do you need, like today? And that can be like, I need coffee, or I need a hug, or I need art supplies, or I need a studio space. It can be as little or as big, but just to name that need and then kind of work towards that. And to put it out there, because you're not alone with it. And then the second question was, what do you have to offer? So it was kind of this intention to create kind of an exchange between the artists. So it's not just like you get to, just do one element of it. It's a shared experience.
Neat.
So she started asking me those questions, and I realized that as a woman artist, I had actually never asked those of myself. Like, you go and you do and you make your work, and you're asking all sorts of other important questions while you're making stuff, but I never actually had anybody ask me that. So I started asking women at RedLine, have you heard of this? Like, have you, what is your experience? Like, what, when you just sit down and name it, like as simple as it is, and write it down, it was really interesting, the results that I started hearing about. So last year we did the first one, and I had 79 artists involved, and I also had them fill out a form along with their submission. And I should mention all of the pieces that were submitted. There's over 120 artists involved in this year's event, and they're all swan themed. And that theme can be as, stereotypical as you want it to be. I guess, like just a swan. They're really cool animals when you start to actually look into them. Or it can go deeper into all the symbolism, mythology, and then different reflections of culture and just kind of different representations of how they're, swans are really aggressive animals, but they can also be super gentle and, kind of serene. So they have this kind of dual element, so that's kind of fun to play with as an artist. So there's 120, and they all use different media. So I don't ask anybody to do it a specific way, but I do ask them to keep it small so that it's in the upstairs gallery of RedLine.
Okay.
So there's...
That's not a giant space. I mean,
it's not a giant space. Luckily, this year we got a third extra wall because they rearranged the studios out there.
Okay.
So along, like I was saying, along with the swan-themed artwork, I had them fill out a form, and the first question was, who is one of your favorite woman artists and why? And what do you need today? What do you have to offer? And then what person, place, or event has made you feel supported in Milwaukee specifically? And then describe how they've helped you along your path. And then the fourth question is, what words or quote makes you feel empowered to be true to yourself and to your work? And so viewers can come see these answers from the women. And when you read them, they're actually really powerful. Like, some people list, you know, like I said, a cup of coffee or studio space, or I need art supplies. You know, so it can be really kind of general or specific. And a lot of the needs can be easily met. It's just a matter of connecting them with the resources. So that's kind of what I'm hoping Swan Day does. I kind of create a space where everybody can kind of come in from every different level. It involves artists that are 7 years old to 70 years old.
Amazing.
And it involves printmakers, photographers, ceramic artists, sculptors. 8 different schools are involved with students and professors. And so it's just a really great way of like cross exchange of ideas and experience. And so I'm hoping that Swan Day just kind of creates this environment where people can continue to look at the questions that they asked of themselves, look at what other people have to offer from their answers, and then see if, like, you know, anything can kind of happen from those. So
wow, that's very
Yeah.
cool. Now, I'm assuming that the art will be for sale, or
most of it is, yeah. Some of the artists have not for sale, but it is all listed, so art can definitely be purchased. And then, as well as the art exhibition itself, we also have activities happening from 10 until 12, and then we have talks happening from 12:30 until 3.
what are some of the talks that you will be hosting, or that will?
So some of the talks, there's 4 women that I've invited to participate in the afternoon events. The first one is Alexandra Ruth of Limitless Expansion, and she's a spiritual priestess, massage, yoga instructor. So she's coming at it talking about art as it relates to the body, and just kind of touching on deep currents that are happening within the realm of women and women arts and creativity, and just kind of tapping into that. And then she'll do a short meditation. And then the second one is Colette Loosberg, who's talking about the theme of residence, and how that also goes into the world from creation, and then into conversation, and then into groups and to art making. The third is Blanche Brown. She's doing a spoken word performance. And then the fourth is Monica Rios, who is writing her first book about women and healing. And then she'll have an interactive kind of discussion about that.
Wow. When you did this the first year, was it this intense as
No.
well? Okay.
No.
I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
you have so much going on.
Oh my goodness.
That's
It
crazy.
is literally a second job. I should, note that this is 99% volunteer. And I couldn't do it without the help of this really good network of friends, everybody at RedLine. My husband was helping me type in labels the other day. My cat was there for moral support. Yeah, so it's great because we had the first year last year, and there was just so much interest and so much, just excitement about it. And I was like, whoa, what did I even get myself into here? Because I've never done anything like this before. And then this year, it was really easy to get the art, and then I really wanted to build on it, especially with everything that's happening in the cultural and political environment right now. We just felt it was really necessary to use it as a platform. And so that's why we're using it as a menstrual supplies drive for Meta House and Lutheran Social Services Refugee Resettlement Aid. So all of the supplies or cash donations that are given at the opening day will go to those 2 organizations.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and the date of this again is?
This is this Saturday at RedLine Milwaukee, which is 1422 North 4th Street, and it's happening from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m.
And will the exhibit runs further than that, or is it only on the March 25th?
It runs through April 22nd, which is actually Gallery Day weekend.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. So they'll also have a show in their main exhibit. This Saturday is actually the last Saturday to see the Trees Agnew exhibit, which is really good. And then by Gallery Day, they'll have a new exhibit up. So you can kind of get 2 for 1 when you come.
Do you find the art community to be super supportive of each other? Like when you reached out to the women to be involved with this, is it all female artists that are taking part in Swan Day, or?
It is. There's, like I said, it's multi-generational, and there's also some transgender women in there. There's women with disabilities in there, so it's like a really mixed bag. There's women of color, women from all different backgrounds and experiences. So yeah, when I asked, it's amazing how many people were interested. Had questions about it, and then were just plain excited about it and to be part of it, because there's not so many of them are also showing for the very first time.
Oh, neat.
Which I feel very humbled to hold that space for them. So I want to make it a really good time for them, because when I think back to being a younger artist starting out, I was blessed with having a very supportive family and friends, and so nobody ever questioned me going into art. They were just like, yeah, duh, like that's what you're doing, But for a lot of women, that's not the case, and they have to really fight for it. And so, with my privilege of having been blessed with that automatic support system, and thinking about like, well, what if that was taken away? What would that mean, and how much? It's already hard. It's hard to be a woman. It's hard to be a human. It's hard to be an artist on top of all those things. And so, if I can just create a space where it's easier, and just kind of speed that process up a little bit, or just open some ways of thinking, I think that's a really good thing. So
That is
I
really
hope
neat.
that's what happens.
Did you when you started this last year, did you go to a Swan Day that influenced you to start it here in Milwaukee, or?
No, I looked on womenarts.org is the nonprofit website that hosts Swan Day, and so I just, like I said, I listened to what my friend was up to last year working there, and then I looked at all of their interviews. They've interviewed the woman who plays Jean Grey from X-Men, and she talks about Swan Day.
Oh, wow, cool.
And they talk with, I think it's Cassandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy, and she talks about Swan Day. So they've actually gotten like a lot of celebrities to talk about Swan Day. So I think that's really interesting that it had never happened here in Milwaukee that I'm aware of. And so they had it happening in other cities, and they were just really interested in trying to plant that seed and keep it going.
And what does SWAN stand for? One more time?
Support Women Artists Now.
Support Women Artists Now.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So all you guys listening, Swan Day, MKE, Milwaukee, is on this Saturday, 10 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like you're going to have music that was put together by the FemFest folks.
Yeah, so from 10 to 12, there's all these really fun activities happening simultaneously with you being able to see the exhibit. The soundtrack will be the FemFest compilation, along with other Milwaukee musicians put together by DJ Victoria Bai. And then FemFest will have a resource table there. They probably be selling some CDs, just offering information, which I'm super happy to get them as a table. I haven't been able to attend their event, but it's really interesting when you get involved with things like this. You start to see all of these kind of parallel things happening, and really pay attention to them. And it's just really great to kind of all come together. And then Anja Notanja Seeger will have typewriter performance art with Monica Thomas. And then there's going to be a free screen printing station with Melanie Ahrens, where you can screen print the No Hate poster that she's been doing. And
cool.
Then Nirmal Raja made for us a Swan Persist. It's got a little swan as the S screen, and that's all free. We'll have a free coloring table and the menstrual supply drive, and then we're also going to have a table by the Next 4 Years, which is a group that commissioned art posters to reflect concerns about, the political, cultural environment. And the posters are to be used in rallies, like we use them in the Women's March in Madison. They were in the D.C. area. And one of them was commissioned by Nikki Johnson, who's a well-known Milwaukee artist, and she just did a huge, and the poster is based off of her piece called Hills and Valleys, and she will be there signing limited edition of prints and selling her other merchandise, which benefits Planned Parenthood and her tour across the country with that. And then Mark Tasman, who also was commissioned for a poster, will also be there signing. And I feel like I'm missing one more thing.
No, I feel like you've touched
There's so
on
much
everything.
stuff. There's so much stuff. Oh, there's going to be a selfie station. My very good friend Isabel built a swan entirely out of menstrual supplies. It's really awesome, so you can take a selfie with that. There will be free mini massages. And then we are also going to have a dance performance by 2 Oak Creek high schools at 11 o'clock. And then we're going to serve cake, because you have to have cake.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Well, it sounds like a great day, Jamie, and thank you so much for coming in and sharing all this information about Swan Day. And one more time, it's Saturday, March 25th at the RedLine Gallery, 1422 North 4th Street. That's right by...
It's a block north of where the National Hardware used to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And I should mention it's free. Totally free. And open to the public.
And kicks off at 10 a.m. So check it out, everyone. Thanks again, Jamie, so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this song by Amy Malone.